Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs down Gangster City, which is a deduction game where 1 to 6 players are detectives trying to solve as many murders as possible. And the way it works is, on your turn, you have a very simple choice. You either investigate or you arrest. Who am I trying to arrest? This person. This is a murderer who had, there's the who, the how, the where, and the why, or the where, the wie, the wo, and the warum, depending on what language you are concerned with. I'm trying to figure out who this is, and I'm trying to beat my opponent over there who has their own murderer they're trying to catch. So, at the beginning of the game, I'm not ready to arrest because if I attempt to arrest once, no big deal, I just wasted a turn. If I attempt it a second time and I fail, I'm out. So, got to be careful. So, I'm going to investigate. That means I pick any one of these cards, or if I don't like them, I could just draw a blind and hope for the best. Let's just go on ahead and say I take this. And I'm investigating, was it the gangster? Was it for love? Was it with a gun? And was it at the theater? This background. You can see here's the icons that represent those 4 key things that we have to figure out. Now what I do is I don't get to see anything about my suspect, but I put this out here for my opponents to see, and they compare the two and tell me how many of those things are correct. In this case, there are 3. Oh my gosh. 3 of these things are correct. What a great way to start. It might have been the scientist or the mall who did it, or maybe it was with a knife instead of a gun, but 3 of these 4 things are correct. And I make note of that by putting it like this, with the number 3 on top. And I've got this at the ready, so on my next turn I can look at it and remind myself. Anyway, so that was my turn. I discovered 3 of the 4 things I need to know, but maybe that won't help me. Now it's my opponent's turn. They don't know anything yet, so they're going to investigate, and they say, maybe take this new card. And they ask me how many things are correct. So you can see how easy it is. You can look, the weapon, the person, the location, or the motive. None of these things match. So that's interesting. And this is hugely valuable. I tell them, all 4 of those are wrong. So they take it and put it next to themselves with the 0 up front. So they have now eliminated all of these things. And so now there are only 2 other people it could be, 2 other weapons it could be, 2 other locations it could be, and 1 other motive. That's a hugely valuable thing. And then it's my turn again. And so now I want to pick another card because I don't know enough. I could take a guess, but if I'm wrong, that could be really bad. So I want to start trying to eliminate things. Like, this is interesting. If I choose this one, there's only one thing different. It's the same guy, it's the same weapon, it's the same motive, but it's a different location. So, and this would be a way to maybe find out the one thing that was wrong. But maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to go for something that has more things different. This is the same motive, different person. So this has 2 things that are different. Let's say I ask about this. I ask my opponents, and they tell me there are 1, 2, and right. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time to read this upside down, folks. Sorry. So 1, 2 things. Yes, there are 2 things correct here. So now I know 3 of these are correct. I know 2 of these are correct. That can help me start eliminate things. Because the gun's on both of them, the heart's on both of them, but it's different person and different location. What does that mean? Is that enough for me to crack the case next time and take a guess, or maybe take an educated guess? I don't know, but I'm not thinking about that right now. But anyway, it comes out, and now it's my opponent's turn. They pick another one, and they're trying to figure out. And as soon as somebody thinks they've got it and they make their arrest, they don't draw a card. Instead, they name all 4 traits. If they're correct, they take the card and they keep it because it's worth 1 point. Hooray! The first player to 2 points or more, if you're playing an advanced game, wins. So that player would get this correct, keep that, and then they'd suddenly have a new murderer that they're trying to track down, because this is Gangster City. There's murderers all the time. These get discarded, and then on a future turn, they've got to start trying to deduce the second murderer. And it goes like that until somebody solves the correct number of murders, depending on how difficult the game is. That's it, folks. That is Gangster City. Now, here's the interesting thing. By default, it's a competitive game where we're 2 to 6 players, all racing to deduce as fast as they can. But you can play this solo or cooperative because in the back of the rule book, there are a bunch of cases that have been preset. They're kind of like little puzzles. Like this one down here says that, oh, what is it? Cards 22, 26, and 38, which I already pulled out. 22, 26, and 38. Right, so here's these cards. 22 has 2 things correct. 26 has 2 things correct. And 38 has 3 things correct. Between that, folks, that's all the information you need to solve the murder. Can you figure it out? Can you figure out who this is? Well, I'll let you cogitate on that a bit. And I will just end it right there saying that Gangster City is a sweet, charming little game. Kind of on the light side, a great family introduction to deduction because, I mean, you could play this with young kids and kind of help them through the logic until they can start doing it on their own. Or, I mean, if you want to play with a bunch of die-hard deduction fans, well, just make the game last a little bit longer because, sooner or later, other players have a chance to catch up and, or maybe somebody runs away with it if they're really good at it. But you know what? At its heart, this is just a fun, fast, simple, light little game for a nice deduction fix. The whole thing is just these cards and these little standees, so it's very portable. You can play it anywhere. It's incredibly easy to teach. And that's it, folks. That's the rundown on Gangster City. Jen and I have enjoyed it. I don't know how much we keep at it. We have, I can say, done every one of these puzzles. It took us about 2 hours to go through them all. We had a great time solving them together, although you could also do these solo, and at which point it's now a competitive game. And it's nice, but I think this would be better as a light gateway game. So, that's it. Gangster City. Thanks for watching the rundown. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.